Well, hello and welcome to News Center. I'm Ashmit Kumar, and here are the headlines that we're tracking at this hour. The Sensex hits a record high after a last-hour rally. Nifty is now just 120 points away from its peak. Stocks rally across the world after minutes of the last US Federal Reserve meeting shows majority favor slowing down the pace of monetary tightening. The European Union proposes a price cap on natural gas prices to stave off an energy crisis. Nations like Netherlands and Germany express skepticism about the benefits of the measures. The EU maintains that the proposal is balanced and will help the bloc avoid excessively high prices. The promoter of Bisleri, Ramesh Chauhan, says he's in talks with Tatas and others for a majority stake sale. Tata Consumer had earlier told CNBC-TV18 it is open to inorganic opportunities in the water business. Supreme Court questions the lightning speed at which Arun Goyal was appointed as the new election commissioner. Asks the government why the tearing hurry to clear the file within 24 hours. Attorney General defends the appointment, asks the apex court to hold its mouth and look at the matter in its entirety. The measles outbreak intensifies across large parts of India. The death toll in Maharashtra rises to 13. Union government rushes special teams to 3 states. World Health Organization warns that 40 million children are vulnerable as they miss their measles vaccine due to the pandemic. Foxconn apologizes for a technical error during onboarding process after massive protests at its COVID-hit iPhone factory over pay dispute. Company says the actual pay would be the same as agreed. Well, let's start with a big corporate story. Now, Tata Consumer Products is currently in talks to acquire bottled water major Bisleri. Now, the promoter of Bisleri, Ramesh Chauhan, told CNBC-TV18 that he is in fact in talks with Tatas as well as others for a stake sale. Now, Tata Consumer had earlier told us that it is open to inorganic opportunities in the water business. Manglam Maluna joins us. Manglam, tell us what's the sense that you're making as far as these conversations are concerned?
Two brands that evoke maximum trust in India, Tata's and Bisleri, they will come together were that to happen. But as far as the numbers that we have so far, the numbers that have been reported, it is likely to be a deal worth nearly 6,000 to 7,000 odd crore rupees. We had the management of Bisleri confirm that their revenues are close to around 2,500 odd crores and 220 crores is their profitability. Now, Tata Consumer, the first half, they've run revenues of close to around 6,700 crores with close to around 670 crores of profits. So if you double that, it could be an annual revenue and EPS accretion by about 15 to 16%. What does this mean for Tata's in terms of the money that they're paying? Their market cap is close to around 71,000 crores. They have cash of over 2,000 crore rupees. So the dilution in any case is not likely to be more than 8 to 10 odd percent, which means that for 8 to 10% of your dilution, you are getting 15-16% EPS accretion. That is the big play. And this does not account for the big benefits that would come by cost synergies as well as cross-selling of Tata's water brands to Bisleri itself. As far as the packaged drinking water industry is concerned, it's a 20,000 crore category, of which 60% is unorganized. So, the shift to organized is one big trigger. Premium and value-added segments are doing extremely well. So with Tata's actually going ahead and acquiring Bisleri, if the deal were to happen, it gives them volume, it gives them 30% share of the organized market. And Himalayan, which Tata already operates, give them value. And Tata Water Plus, which does copper, etc., gives them value add. So they have the entire portfolio, so to say, of packaged drinking water. But, keep the numbers and the brand strategy aside, just look back and look at it as consumers. Tata's and Bisleri coming together would definitely be an iconic moment. Stage of discussions are you right now with the Tatas?
Well, you seem to be knowing more than I know, but we are in discussion.
Because you like the culture of the Tatas and you're in talks with them, does that mean that if a deal has to happen, it will be with the Tatas only? Or are there other players in the fray too?
That I cannot say. Others are there, but it's not discussion yet.
Right. News now from the North Block. The centre is planning to increase its budget for the MNREGA, its flagship rural employment scheme, in the ongoing fiscal year. Sapna Das now joins us. Sapna, tell us, what are you picking up?
Well, definitely MNREGA budget in the current financial year too will be stepped up, and this is almost a kind of a regular practice. This is a very important flagship scheme of the government, core of the core schemes. Right on top of the list of the core schemes is MNREGA, and almost every year, they ask for additional money. And this time we are given to understand that probably 16,000 crores worth of additional funding is being provided to MNREGA. Probably this will find a mention in the first supplementary demands for grants, which will come up in the coming winter session of Parliament. Although a higher allocation, a higher additionality has been sought of around 25,000 crores, remains to be seen whether this money will also come through, by the time the revised estimates are presented along with the budget on 1st Feb. But as of now, we are given to understand that the MNREGA budget will go up by 16,000 crores, and that brings you to around 99 to 98,000 crores worth of MNREGA budget, which is almost on the same lines as last year's revised estimates. This is a flagship scheme of the government, and they are not going to go back on the fact that there should not be enough funds available, or the funds will not come through. That they will make sure that whatever is essential for the scheme will be given.
Right, Sapna, thanks a lot for that. Now, electric two-wheeler startup Ultraviolette has launched its sports performance motorcycle, the F77. Now, it will be the company's first electric product, and as per reports, it will provide a range of 300 kilometers. Backed by TVS Motor Company, the startup has received pre-orders of around 70,000 units from across the globe. My colleague Parikshit Luthra caught up with the co-founders earlier today and began by asking them about the different variants. Listen in.
It's been 5+ years of R&D. It's been R&D ground up on the vehicle side as well as on the battery side, and we are very excited to be getting the vehicles out there right now. And when it comes to the variants, we have 3 different personalities for the vehicle: the F77 Shadow, Airstrike, and the Laser. And in terms of range as well, we have a couple of variants on offer to the consumers.
Neeraj, in terms of the range, we were hearing that this would give a range of about 307 kilometers in a single charge. Will this be for the top variant only? Who are you rivaling in the market when it comes to the IC engine motorcycles in the market? What is the charging time for this vehicle?
What we have today with the F77 in its latest generation is one of the largest battery packs available in India, right? In fact, the range that is available now with a single charge is almost or more than what is available on a typical IC engine with a full tank of petrol. And this is something phenomenal and has never been seen before in this market, right? So from that perspective, I think we are quite excited. We've come a long way since, where we unveiled the first vehicles in 2019 and spoke about a range of 150 kilometers. Now we've taken it all the way to about 300 kilometers in terms of IDC range. When it comes to charging time as well, we have multiple options available. We'll be making more announcements on that, tomorrow.
Narayan, if I can come back to you, when does the market rollout really begin? How many pre-bookings have you received? You had opened up pre-bookings at a token price of 10,000 rupees. Narayan, how many bookings have you received? When does the rollout actually begin?
So the response to vehicles and the interest has been overwhelming from all across the country. We're not just talking about the top cities, but the interest spans through pretty much tier 1, 2, and 3 parts of India, right? And coming to your question on rollouts, we are beginning rollout from Bangalore starting Jan. And we have a phase-wise calendar of rollout to reach the rest of India within the next 12 months from starting out in Bangalore.
Some reports had suggested that Qualcomm would be investing $25 million in the Series D funding. Would that be correct? Could you give us an estimate of what both the investors are putting together in the Series D funding?
So I think it's part of the ongoing Series D funding, and Qualcomm is one of the investors as part of this round. And I think their interest lies in the technology that we've built ground up and the intent of the company to have a global presence.
Okay. And in terms of future products and expansion plans, give us a sense of your exports, future product pipeline in 2023?
Sure. I think our production and plans for 2023 revolve predominantly around India. 2024 is when we are estimating starting out, establishing a global footprint across the developed markets. We're talking about Europe and US to begin with. there's tremendous interest coming in from countries in Europe and different parts of the US as well. So our plans for the next 12 months are going to be predominantly distributing, scaling up across India, and 24 onwards is going global.
All right. My final question to you, Neeraj. What has been TVS's support like for Ultraviolette? How have they supported you through this journey over the last few years? And how do you see synergies between the two brands?
Yeah, so we see TVS as a very strategic partner. They've been on board in terms of, first investing in the company in 2017. And they've always shared our passion for building globally competitive and futuristic mobility products. So we see long-term synergy in our partnership with them, considering their rich heritage and decades of industry experience. And, in terms of the innovation and design technology and business that Ultraviolette brings together. So I think we see a very, good synergy in the long term.
Well, CNBC-TV18 is all set to lead charge with one-of-a-kind mega initiative, Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective, presented by HSBC. Now, before the official launch, we were joined by some young future leaders who shared their vision with our managing editor, Shireen Bhan. Now, their dreams and superpowers transcend age boundaries, from loving the Hulk to saving the planet to wanting the stock markets to open late so that their fathers can drop them to the school bus. This heartwarming conversation is a must-watch.
Asha, do you sing?
No, I just listen.
You just listen also? Anybody here who sings?
I sometimes sing.
You sometimes sing. Can you sing us a song?
Don't like to sing in like the public. I'm like a little scared, but I sing to I just sing to myself. I don't sing out loud.
Okay, so you're singing in your mind. What song are you singing in your mind?
I'm singing the song 1,000 Years. It's a good song. It's by Christina Perry.
It's a very good song. We would like it if you could sing just one line for all of us, if possible.
No.
I like that. Very firm, very clear. No means no. We respect that. Yes.
She gets it.
She gets what?
She gets the fact we sing to ourselves, not others.
Yeah, we're not performing monkeys. I totally get that, which is why we're not forcing you. So we appreciate the fact that you are very clear about what you want and don't want to do. So let me end by asking each one of you before we let you go. Are you willing to? She wants to sing. What will you sing? What are you going to sing?
Sing.
Tara, sing.
See, Shanti, you said you were going to sing? Bye, one of it.
Okay,
sing.
Please sing.
There once was one ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was Runaway of the winds blew up.
Her boat dipped
down. He's kicking my shoes.
Well, the initiative will be officially launched through an exclusive on-ground event tomorrow, November 25th, with several women leaders of India Inc. Also in attendance will be some of the most influential voices from the business, entrepreneurship and entertainment spaces. Don't forget to tune into CNBC-TV18 on Friday, November 25th, 5:30 p.m. onwards. Well, with that, it's time now to slip into a very short break. But coming up on the other side, an exclusive conversation with former SEBI chairman M Damodaran on the model risk code. Welcome back. Now, the Finance Ministry had recently set up a committee under former SEBI chairman M Damodaran to look at ways to scale up PE and VC investments in India. Now, this also comes at a time when we are seeing large-scale layoffs across startups in the country. Now, speaking to CNBC-TV18 exclusively at the launch of industry body FICCI's model risk code, former SEBI chairperson M Damodaran spoke about ways to scale up PE and VC investments into India, lessons from layoffs in startups and regulatory changes are needed for ease of doing business.
You've released a model risk code today. How relevant is it for the PE VC ecosystem, also for startups at this point?
I think the model risk code is relevant for everyone who's doing business, because it is size neutral. Risk is a size neutral problem. Everyone has risks. And if you recognize that early enough and put in place steps to address it, the company will be better off, the individuals will be better off. So it's relevant for everyone, whether it's a startup or a 100-year-old company, equally relevant.
Right. Just to also ask you about the need for greater parity, greater rationality when it comes to taxation on domestic capital. This has been a demand of many PE, VC investors from startups as well. How do you see this?
Well, we have received as a committee representations from 4 sets of people. They made presentations to us. This has been one of their asks. As to what my thoughts are, I will hold them back for another month or so till we have the report out, because we are in this discussion stage. We've got inputs from a large number of people. The committee itself has considerable expertise drawn from various sources. And we're looking at all of this. Our objective is to see how to make life a little easier for people that are actually investing in India. Therefore, I don't want to get into the specifics, but this is certainly one of the asks that the committee has received and is addressing.
By when do you think you'll be able to be ready with your report?
Our target date is the 9th of December. We are hoping we will make it by that time. We have had several rounds of discussions among the committee members, and now we are just putting it all together in terms of what we can recommend, what we cannot recommend, because everyone has given us long lists of demands saying that India would be a much better investment destination if all of this was done. At the same time, there are some regulations that are in place for a certain reason, and it's not without reason that regulations or laws got written. So we have to see whether that rationale still holds. Even if that holds, is there a slightly lighter touch way to do it rather than keep it in its existing form? So these are the possibilities that we're addressing.
Right. Looking at ease of doing business, this has been a big priority for this government. If we were to ask you about 2 measures that the government can take to make it easier for companies to invest in the startup ecosystem, make the investment climate more friendly, make India a more receptive place for investments, what could that be?
No, I think certainly you got to look at all the existing regulations and laws and see whether there are any among them that are past their sell-by date, have lost relevance, because you write laws and regulations in a context. Has the context changed? And of course, at the back of all of this, we got to keep in mind the fact that India needs to see a lot of investment coming from outside of India. So how are you going to make it a little easier? That's exactly what we are addressing.
Right. What do you think the budget can do to give a further impetus to startups in the country, make sure we get more private equity, venture capital investments?
I think if there are any decisions that are going to be taken, whether based on our report or otherwise, that can signal to the potential investors that this is an easier place to invest, then you will see more investment coming in. But what are the 1 or 2 things? Well, I think the committee will come out with some in the report.
Right. We were talking about the model risk code a short while back, and we've seen large-scale layoffs in startups over the last 6 to 8 months, and those continue. What is the lesson from all of this?
I think companies need to do scenario analysis, scenario planning. In good times, you obviously think these will continue forever. There will be challenges that come in from outside. Challenges from outside your company. When I say outside, within the ecosystem, but outside your company. And you got to see how do you address those. Now, if you don't have a plan for a bad day and you think the sun will shine throughout, clearly your business model has some weakness in it. You need to have fallback options, look at whether you can sustain the kind of workforce that you have. It's a complex issue, but one that needs to be addressed upfront rather than when a problem is staring you in the face.
Right. So SEBI has set up a panel on reviewing mutual fund benchmarks. How do you think we should be approaching this?
Well, I think SEBI did it for the right reasons, because you need to see what are mutual funds. At the end of the day, they are vehicles for retail investors, especially for first-time investors who cannot understand or who have no ability to diversify risk, and also don't understand the research that goes into this. So mutual funds play a very important role as far as investors are concerned, big and small. The big person might not have the time, the small person might not have the knowledge for it. Now, given that situation, SEBI will have to do whatever it takes to make this a safe place. And in pursuit of safety for investors, SEBI is looking at benchmarks for the mutual fund industry.
Right. And my final question, sir, thank you very much for giving us this time. You led IDBI many years ago. Yes. Any challenges that you see in divestment there?
It depends what you're expecting from the divestment. Divestment by itself will go through. Will you get the price that you want? Will the processes be right? Do you need regulatory dispensation? All of these are issues which I think the government is looking at and engaging with the regulators.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the News Center. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC TV18. The news and updates continue right here on the other side.